we're back with another episode of The Wandering Village. I hope you're having a fantastic and amazing day today. But here we are back on the back of Ambu, and we had a couple buildings that we were waiting to get built up at the end of the last episode, and those have been completed since then. They were the kitchen, village doctor, got an Ambu kitchen, decontaminator, and over here we have our hornblower ready to go, and our feeding trebuchet also ready to go. We are getting to the point where we're about ready to feed Anbu for the very first time. We have our kitchen working hard. They do have the one Anbu food in there, which will be gone shortly, I would imagine, and be brought up to the trebuchet. And then we'll be able to launch our first food to feed Anbu and gain enough trust, hopefully, to be able to control it once we get to another crossroads here, which we are coming upon right now. So I don't think we'll be able to control it for this one, but for sure the next crossroads we'll be able to control it. So we'll see which direction Ambu goes here. I've got a feeling it's going to go back to the desert. Speaking of the desert, since we've been doing some research in between episodes a little bit, we've gotten a few things. And with the desert, I got the cactus plantation, and we got corn plantations ready to go. Remember now, the cactuses are going to provide us with water while we traverse through the desert. And the corn are heat resistant, which are going to be able to grow while we are in the desert as well. So we currently have the one farm here ready to go. There's nothing happening with it right now. And I'm going to go ahead and put in another farm, just regular old farm. One of these is going to be cactus. The other is going to be the corn. So we're going to go ahead and plop this guy about right in there. That's a decent enough spot. We'll wait for that to get built up. We should have materials to, maybe not. We don't have a whole lot of materials. I did put a couple more people in the stonecutter and the carpenter here while I was trying to get these buildings working, just so that it was a little bit quicker. We have a couple things marked around here to get gathered up kind of as we go here, but we also got a couple other things. I'll show you that right now. We did get this Scavenger Hut. I did mention we got the decontaminator all researched. That's ready to go. We're also working on the compost heap right now. We also did research the Anbu Doctor, which I showed building. We got that up and running. So let's go check our trebuchet right here. We are ready to feed Anbu. So let's see. If we go to Anbu here, number 5, we should be able to control it. So here's our horn commands. We want to get to feeding. Here's Anbu food. Let's go ahead and launch up our trebuchet. So shortly here, we'll see this little guy in this area. We'll see a little brown ball go flying forward. There it is. We have fed Anbu. This is on cooldown, you can see here, for a minute in game time. And then this hunger should reduce. And we should be pretty close to having Ambu's trust. So again, I was correct where we wouldn't have enough time to control it at this crossroad, but perhaps the next one. Managed to not go in the desert, which surprises me a little bit. There is some extra food up here and some nomads, so this is definitely the better choice. I'm happy that we went in this direction. With that, we are still continuing to gather up water through our air wells. You can see these are both at cap, and then this one is, and this water tank is got about 70 inventory left. So it's getting there, but we have a little bit of room left, which is excellent. And then once we get our 2 other farms going, we're probably going to need a couple more air wells. And since we're here in this air well friendly area, kind of hard to say, we're going to go ahead and get 2 more air wells working. And I would also think about getting another water tank here as well, so then we have extra space for that stuff. So we're still waiting on the stone and wood on that guy. So while we are waiting, we'll get our other farm set up. So let's go ahead, and we could get into cactuses, but since we're in the mountains, it's not relevant right now. Corn also is too cold for corn right now, so we can have beets. It's a little on the cool side for beets, but they are still going to grow if we want to have them. Let's go ahead and put some plots in here. I'll probably do like the whole thing for it. Why not? And that'll be all right. And then this one will do similarly, except there's a couple berries and some other spikes and things over here that are going to take up some space. We could mark these to get gathered up. Let's go ahead and we'll do that. Don't want to grab that spike, remember. All right, so our trebuchet now has 2 food ready, so that's excellent. We have that queued up, and we are ready for our next research. So now at this point, now that we have the way to feed Anbu taken care of, control Anbu taken care of, and to heal Anbu taken care of, it doesn't really matter what order we get the next things. So we have a couple things here under village, food stand, warehouse, hut that we could learn. Resource has nothing that we can learn because we need knowledge. That's what this little magnifying gear glass thing is. And then the Anbu, we could learn pet Anbu, and that's it. I'm not too worried about the pet Anbu. This is going to increase its trust in you, which is definitely handy to have, but I don't think we'll need it. So for now, let's go back to village, and I think I'm going to go ahead and get into warehouse, and then we'll do hut next, and then pet Anbu, and then we'll see how much knowledge we have, if we have any yet. So the way to get that knowledge is we go to this guy here, the exploration and the scavenger hut. So remember, the scavenger hut is right here under research village, scavenger hut. Since we had kitchen, it was just researching scavenger hut, pretty easy. We have that here under exploration. We're gonna go grab it. We can only do this on the edge of Anbu. So what's gonna happen is when we build this thing, the people are gonna go out and do some scavenging in the big wide world. So they're gonna leave Anbu to go look for things for us. So we'll get that thing put in right there, and it's gonna take a little bit of time because it's got these wood plank and slab things. I don't think I have many of those stored up, so it's gonna take a minute. We do have the planks, it looks like, not the stone slab. So a couple more workers would be great so we can continue to continuously harvest this stuff up over in here. We'll get those hopefully pretty soon. Let's go check our world map. Yep, we got some nomads right here on the map. That's excellent. And then Anbu will probably sleep in these little feathery things. It's about half sleepiness right now. So by the time it gets there, it'll probably be a little bit more, probably like 60% or so. We also have our compost heap learned as well. So this is going to take dung that we're supposed to be gathering with our dung collector over here and use that as fertilizer. So we canceled the creation of the dung collector because of the need for the decontaminator and a bunch of other things needing the planks and slab. This thing needs 15 of both. That's pretty a hefty price in my opinion. So once we get our scav hut built, well, then we'll worry about the dung collector and the compost heap. It's not a critical thing for us at this moment, so we're not going to worry about it just yet. I do have both these set as general workers. We're still just going around gathering and moving things around as needed. We don't have any specializations just yet. I only have the one village doctor. I did notice that I had somebody who was sick, so we had to put somebody in there to cure our people. Got 2 more healthy people. That's excellent. So we should be looking at 3 general workers here. It's awesome. So that'll be pretty nice. For the scav hut, we need to have 2 workers in there before we can do any expeditions. So we have to move 2 general workers once we get to that point. I do want to prioritize the scav hut. We do need wood and stone for this. So that means we're going to need to mark some things. I'm going to go around and mark some more things for gathering. And we got a couple of things marked up. So it looks like Anbu is just now lying down. 65% sleepiness, and we are off that little fuzzy thing. That was correct. Ooh, but look at this. We do have a thunderstorm that is going to go back and forth over our path. So the way that we can avoid this, depending on when Anbu wakes up here, we could maybe outrun the thunderstorm, but we'll see. Sometimes it's pretty hard to miss, so we'll see if we can do that. But we do have a crossroads here, and we can hopefully command Anbu which direction to go. In the meantime, though, we're still gathering up. We have a couple farms that we're waiting on getting ready to go here. We're still waiting on our scav hut. So I'm going to wait for a little bit here, and we'll get those things built up, gather some more resources, and then as soon as Anbu gets to that area, which will be shortly here, I will do the commands, and we'll see if we can avoid that thunderstorm. Okay, so right now, we're looking pretty close, right? So what I think I'm going to do, we're going to go for it. We're going to say, hard commands, run. We're going to have it run. Let's see if it does. Anbu accepts our command. So if we go back up here, see if we can outrun this tornado. It's gonna be real close. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but we'll find out. I think we'll get past it just... Oh no, I think it's gonna broadside us. Okay, well that didn't work very well. So maybe I should have it slept or just sit there. Yeah, it's gonna broadside us perfectly. So yeah, I was trying to avoid it, but I timed it great to hit us just nicely. So we'll run through it as quick as possible here. We'll continue this operation. And then we're going to go back to the Anbu control, which is going to be walk, go back to the world view, and we'll just take a quick look to see what's going on around here. So if we continue in this direction, we're going to run into a desert biome, which, okay. Or if we go south, we're going to continue into the mountains, but we don't see any hazards or anything on either path. So what I think I'm going to do, we're going to go ahead and continue south, just because, again, the water is better in the mountains. And I'm still kind of accumulating with our air wells and our tanks more and more water for our next desert adventure. And I would also like to have farms up and running with cactuses, or at least ready to swap the cactuses and corn. So we're able to continue that operation. So the light storm that we just went through destroyed a bunch of our tents, and it's just a quick little repair for those. So nothing too crucial. They can be way worse. So at least that wasn't too bad. Speaking of which, I'm noticing that we're probably a little short here. Yeah, we're short 3 tents. Let's go ahead and get a couple of those going. Well, not a couple, 3 of them. Our Anbu kitchen looks like it's waiting on some mushrooms. So I'm going to take a worker out of there. We don't need 2 workers just sitting around. Let's take both out. And we're still working on our scav hut. We need only 1 more stone slab, which should be here quite shortly. Oh, it looks like I need to mark a couple more things. And we got some rocks over here. So what I'm going to do so we can get that scavenger hut completed quickly, I'm going to remove harvest task. Oh, we got somebody right here. But I'm going to take out some of these trees anyways. So that's all it is right here is a little sickle with a minus. And you highlight what you don't want to gather. And then the little balloon, the highlight goes away. Oh, but look at this. So Anbu doesn't trust our command. I missed that. It's taking us into the desert. I missed that little blip that came up. So interesting that the Anbu accepted our command to run, but not which direction to walk. Kind of weird. So we have another tornado on the way here. I'm going to guess that we're going to run right into that one as well. I'm going to try running. Let's see if this thing will listen to us to run. Okay, yeah, it doesn't trust our command. It is a little hungry, so let's see if we can whip another food to Anbu. We're going to research hut next. So again, we're going to go to our trebuchet. We have 5 food stored up. We're going to go ahead and Anbu food it. It's going to take a second to prepare, and then it will launch. Okay, so we do have our warehouses that we can start building. Again, wood planks and stone slabs. These are going to be recurring things here. They come up pretty quick in the game. We just got to continue to gather up those logs and those stones. And when we get to sawmill and the quarry, it's going to be so much easier to continually get stone and rock here. So it's kind of slow going at the beginning. It's kind of annoying to have to keep grabbing all the little things around, but it will get resolved soon. So as soon as we have our scavenger hut ready, we'll get some knowledge points, and then we'll get those things learned. That's going to be the sawmill here. It's only going to take 1, and then our quarry is going to only take 1. So we're going to need 2 points to get to the quarry, and only the 1 for the sawmill. So when I say 2 points to the quarry, I'm counting 1 for sawmill, 1 for quarry. That shouldn't be too bad to get. We should be able to do that, and that's going to be my priority, I think. Stonecutter looks like it's got enough things to work those last couple slabs. So this thing should be completed here soon. And it looks like, yep, we're going to get broadside again. So that's going to happen. We'll just have to repair our little town, and probably our tents will collapse again, but that isn't too big of a deal. And you can see here's a sandstorm hitting the town. You can see this in the Anbu view here. You can also see like poison clouds and other things like that. We'll go back to our village view. Yeah, so we lost our air well, and we lost a couple of our other things. But since we are in the desert now, the water thing. So let's go ahead and put this to cactuses. We're going to add in a couple of workers. And where we're going to flex them from, let's go ahead and move them out of general workers. Wow, we have 10. Nice. We'll subtract 2. That should put those guys in the farm. And we'll start to get our cactus water that way. And it looks like this farm is also complete. So we're ready for some corn. We can subtract 2 more people from our building post, worker post, and then they should go here. But I think, yep, our scavenger hut got completed right as I clicked that. So we gotta go 1 more and then 1 more. There we go, this farm. Then we gotta do our planting of the field area. Oh, shoot, let's cancel this and this and this. We're still trying to build that relationship with Anbu. I don't want to muddy it up by silly farm things like that. Got corn on the way. We have cactuses on the way. We should be looking pretty good here. So yeah, cactuses here, 100% growth. It's well in the green, and then our corn is also in the green, 100% growth rate. So we should have a good amount of water to get started here. We have 100 in both, 45 in 4 wells, well, 3 wells. So that's awesome. Let's check out our scavenger hut. We'll open a map. Look at this. Anbu sleepiness is 83%, and then we have a short heat wave here. So what I will probably see happening shortly here. Okay, good. It fell asleep. I thought for sure that it was going to fall asleep within the short heat wave here. Our scav hut, we have the options of clicking on some things over here. So we have a quarry, we have some sand dunes, poison forest, and that's about it. It looks like nothing too wild to begin with here. The thing is with the dunes, it provides sand. And this is the only way currently where we can get sand from, and sand will be used later down the line to make glass with. So we want to grab those eventually, but I think what we'll start with is these quarries that are way far away. we really need the rocks, so let's go ahead and send them out. All right, so the scavengers are out. We can go back to the town here. You can see that these guys are out scavenging, so we can open the map and go and check on them again. I like to have multiples of those, so I'm going sometimes. It's pretty fun. You can just keep going back out and gathering stuff, and they add up pretty quickly. Next research, let's go ahead and get Pet Anbu. We can increase that trust with it. And then we have our huts ready to go. So these huts are awesome. They do take wood planks and stone slabs, of course, but they house up to 6 villagers versus the 2 for tents. I like that. They're much better. We'll go ahead and get those going pretty soon here. I want to have some more logs and some more stones happening before we get into that. I'm just going to do a check, see if there's any trees and things available that we can gather up. Let's go ahead and just mark a bunch of more rocks, and then these trees over here again. They're just the trees. So this is how we filter out. Right now I have harvest only fully grown objects selected, as well as harvest all. So we want to keep the fully grown objects thing selected, but then we want to switch to only trees. So in here we'll grab our trees. And the reason we want to do that is because since some of these guys are within range of our berry gatherer, we don't want to be taking them out of here because they're being used by the berry gatherer to get us food. We could also build another berry gatherer somewhere like in here, and maybe take advantage of a couple more berry farms that are around here. But for now, our regular farms are doing okay. Looks like we are borderline not having enough food for the people we have. So once we get out of this desert, maybe we have beets here and beets here, we should be looking pretty good. But in the meantime, we might want to start thinking about having another berry gatherer. Both of these are maxed at 3 workers apiece, so I'm thinking that might be the thing to do. Let's go ahead and find our berry gatherer. And luckily, these guys don't take up too many resources to get built up. 31 efficiency on there. Ooh, not very great. What's the best we can get? 31, it looks like. That's not great at all. But we'll get it placed anyways, and it'll eventually get better. You can see our scavengers have returned. We do have 9 rocks that they gathered from the quarry in the inventory, ready to go. We can open the map back up, and we can pick the next destination. So you can see this one that we've been to is maxed out. We don't go there anymore. The next thing, the sand dune, we have a time estimate here, which is 8 hours. And that's for them to get there and then get the thing and then be back. So that's going to be a very quick expedition. We'll send them out to this dune, and then the next dune will probably go over here. For the poison forest, we could go investigate. We have no idea what we will find here. So let's maybe check that out. As soon as this dune is completed, we'll go and check the poison forest out. Ooh, we also have a couple of nice things coming up. Oh, and an event. After a long walk, the party passes a muddy spot in the desert. A brave scavenger wants to get a better look and inspects it. Seconds later, they are knee-deep in quicksand. There's no time to lose. We have to help fast. It's too dangerous to go in. Send the rest of the party look for something to pull their friend out. The situation is too dangerous. There's nothing we can do. We have to help fast. That's what I'm going to pick. While trying to help, the whole party gets swallowed by the sand. But instead of getting stuck, they fall into an ancient cave underneath. Oh, 15 glass and 4 knowledge. Holy cow. 4 knowledge. That's huge. Wow. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and check out our poison forest here. Wow, that's crazy. We got so much knowledge out of that. So that means as soon as this is complete, we're going to get our sawmill and get our quarry working. It's going to be great. Super awesome. I didn't even check to see what was going on up here. I was too excited about that. Okay, we're going through our short heat wave, so we could choose to go into the rainforest here or back to the mountains. And I'm thinking I'm going to go mountains. There's usually fewer spores in the mountains. Trying to avoid those things. So I think we'll go south. We'll see if Ambu wants. Nope, Ambu doesn't trust us. Let's fling it some food and see if we can change its mind. Find out here shortly. Pet Ambu is research, so let's go ahead and get back up to research. Open. We'll get that sawmill and the quarry queued up. Here we go. We'll have 2 knowledge points after that. So with the Ambu shaking its head like it is, I think it should trust us, but we can't do anything for another minute and a half. Ooh, I don't think we'll make that in time. It'll be really close. So hopefully it goes right. We'll find out here shortly. Our expedition should be back. Let's see. Nope, not quite yet. So you can control the expeditions from this menu or go to the village and then click through the building. Either way works. So it looks like south. Oh, Ambu accepts our command. We got it. Excellent. So that's awesome. We can avoid the nasty jungle for now. We have 63% of our scavenge completed in the poison forest. We'll see what happens with that. We may get out of reach of this ruined settlement. These ruined settlements have a chance to have food or survivors or both. I would like the survivors, of course, to continue to grow our town. There doesn't seem to be a birth rate in this game, So the only way that you're getting more people is to find them as you walk along, or if you scavenge them through like those ruined settlements that we were just looking at. The scavenger party returned. They brought back 10 wood, even though we didn't need to do it. So if we have our decontaminator all ready for 5 people, what I was gonna do is come up to our worker post minus this. Those people would go to the decontaminator and become the decontaminator workers, and I would go find somebody else for the 5th slot, and then they would go around and burn that up. But I guess we don't have to worry about poison in this episode. We may have to see it in the next episode. So thanks for coming and hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Wandering Village, and I'll see you again soon.